back after the Christmas break. I'm Shanegotyou11, and with me as always is Trey.
Hey guys, how's it going? Appreciate this is the first West Coast Madden podcast of the year 2020. So, so it's definitely an exciting time for that, and as well as wild card NFL Saturday and Sunday coming up. Definitely some good games coming up for that. So, comment question of the day is number one, how do you think the wild card games are going to play? And also number two, I don't know how many of you guys have been following the NFL 100 all-time team. Do you think that for the most part it was fair? Like, do you think that all the people that were in deserve to be in? And do you think that they were leaving someone out? Because I think LaDainian Tomlinson should have been in with the running backs. And I know a lot of people were upset about Larry Fitz being in there, but I think he deserved to be in there, no doubt. So and then people, which I've heard some people upset that Gronk's going to be in there, which I think is kind of ridiculous. Like, even though he didn't play for as long, I think Gronk has to be in there because he's just a generational talent that, he needs to be in there for sure. But Shane, how was your holiday season? And have you been following the NFL All-Time 100 team? And if so, what's your opinion on it?
Okay, so I'm going to be honest. The holidays were great. We had a lot of fun. I saw both sides of the family. I mean, we just hung around basically and had some good times. I haven't really paid attention to the NFL 100, but what I will be saying is the one thing I saw on Twitter, and I don't know if you saw me on Twitter with this, is the whole T.O. and Steve Largent argument with Problem and a couple other guys. Did you see that at all?
Oh, probably not, because I haven't had my phone for a while, so I probably missed out on that. But
well, okay, so here's what happened. So they were saying that no way that T.O. should be left off for somebody like Steve Largent, and I said that's because. No, people are too young to remember Steve Largent.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, they were too young, and then on top of that, he played in a small market, which was Seattle at the time. So
yeah, but what I'm saying is people are everybody wants to crown the current generation, and it will happen to you. It will happen to people younger than you. It will always happen because you'll be like, yo, Tom Brady, man, he's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. And they'll be like, no, Michael Vick the 14th is the greatest. You're old. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm just saying, because what I was saying, and I was called a bunch of names, of course. And I said Steve Largent set all the wide receiver records. He led the touchdowns. He led in receptions. He led yards. He led catches. And then he retired, and of course he get passed by. And that was in a league that wasn't a passing league. I believe they passed 53% of the time during that era. And you got to hold, grab, tackle the wide receiver basically, and there'd be no penalty. And my opinion is it's really hard to judge different generations, if that makes sense. Because you don't think Jim Brown would probably still be good in this current generation at 5'10", 225? You don't think Barry Sanders would? What about Dickerson? What about Emmitt Smith? Those guys are just trash now because it's not the current crop of, running backs. I mean, what about Jerry Rice? Would he still be good? Do you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. So, Yeah, but I mean, there's that, and then I mean, T.O.'s like a good receiver, you know. I mean, I don't think anybody can disagree with that, but
No, he's Hall of
yeah,
Famer.
yeah,
He's a great wide receiver. But at the same time, in a pass happy league, of course he's going to have more yardage than Steve Largent. Of course, when you can't armbar and tackle and grab and rip, he's going to have more yardage than Steve Largent. Are they both great? Yes. Are you picking and choosing? Yes. You're nitpicking. But my point is like, why would you say that Steve Largent is so garbage, but he was holding all the records when he retired? So are you
right.
saying the NFL was just garbage until 1991? I'm just saying, like, for your opinion, Trey, do you think a guy like Barry Sanders, which played over 20 years ago, do you believe he could get right in this league and be good?
Yeah, even if there's still teams that are run heavy. Then I get that it's a passing league. I mean, that's kind of universally known, but and there's still good running backs, which is why I was kind of shocked to say that when they were doing the running backs, they didn't really put any like modern day running backs, like the LaDainian Tomlinsons or so some of those guys. It was mainly the 90s and 80s where the NFL was primarily a rushing league. So, but
It's just really hard for me to be honest. Like, I'm a history buff. Like, I like reading up on history, and it's like some people are like, for example, I'll go off topic about baseball. Like, they say Babe Ruth would suck today. Well, would Babe Ruth really suck today? He was still 6'2", 220. And then when they did the eye test for him at this research center, they said he had the fastest reflexes they'd ever seen, and they like listed a whole bunch. And basically, like, if you fit him in today's generation, he would still be very good. Would he be as great? Probably not. But you're telling me with the right muscle regimens and all that stuff and training regimen, excuse me, the vitamins, the steroids, the vitamins,
yeah,
and all that stuff, you don't think that he'd look like, I don't know, a David Ortiz almost? Short
yeah, for
porch.
sure.
I'm just saying, like, yes, do I believe the 1950s players could hold up against it these days? Probably not, maybe one or two, because that's way too far back. And I'm not trying to be like rude, but the average guy was like 185 in the NFL at that time. I don't think they would be able to last. That's just my opinion. I mean, I might be completely wrong on everything, but I just think that not everybody is trash. Not everybody is better because they're from this generation. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah. So, and that kind of brings up a good point too, because do you think, because a lot of people like to say that the NFL is quote unquote wussified now, which, and like you can say like what your opinion is, but I don't buy it. I think that the hits are still there. I think that people nowadays are just learning how to tackle properly, but I still think that the hits are still there. And Tom Brady, for example, like, because you've seen Tom Brady play, I think it's like disrespectful to the, and I know that I'm a Patriots fan, so it's like, of course, but I'm not really that biased, but I've seen Tom Brady play, and especially if you watch that freaking Super Bowl game against the Giants, where like the defensive lineman just like came after him time after time again, like. But how do you think? Do you think that maybe it's a little bit too wussified now, or do you think that it's kind of better, like less injuries and all that?
To be honest, like, I'm not going to lie, I loved all the big hits. I loved them. But as I grow older, and yes, like, there's people saying, well, they get paid, $50 million to play a game. They do. But the average length is a 3-year period in the NFL, and then most don't get past 3 years. They were basically doing, like, they did a whole CTE study from the players that, unfortunately killed themselves. And their brain was basically like that of a 90-year-old Alzheimer's patient. And they were in their 50s. Junior Seau, the guy from Oakland, a guy who played, I believe, with the Bears. And it's like, because, I mean, back in the day, they used to let you crack it helmet to helmet, if you know what I mean. Helmet to helmet and just, like, whatever. Play with the concussion. Take a pill. Go back out there. Take opiates. Go back out there. And it's like, that's a catch-22. Like, I love the big hits. Do I believe it got a little bit soft? Yes. I believe, like, they can make it a little bit more physical while being safe, if that makes sense. Like, I think people, well, in this era, I think a lot of people like the heavy-powered offense. I'm more of a defensive guy, as you can see, even when I play Madden. But what I believe, anyways, is they can make people let defenders grab a little bit more, not horribly, not like, yanking them down, but a little bit tug here and there to make it a little bit more defense-oriented without it being, helmet to helmet all the time. So to answer your question, I know I gave you a long answer, but we are on a podcast, so that is what it is. I think they're doing the right thing overall, but I'd like it to be a little bit more maybe physical grabby in a safe way than it is.
Right. So, and my other question is, like, I mean, like, for a specific player like Tom Brady, like, do you think that he's tough, and do you think that he would be able to? I don't think he might not be able to thrive maybe in that era, but do you think that he would have survived in that era back then?
I think his numbers wouldn't be as good. No.
Yeah.
Do I think he'd be still very good? Probably a Hall of Famer? Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But do I think his numbers would be as good? No. Do I think Russell Wilson? No. Do I think Aaron Rodgers? No. Because, I mean, and it depends on what era you go to. 1990s? No. 1980s? No. 1970s? No. But they weren't passing as much. They were grabbing, they were tackling, they were arm barring. They're basically killing each other. I mean, they'd launch into the QB's knees, try to snap them. They'd launch to their necks. But I went, when I was studying, I went through the little stats, and a lot of the Hall of Fame QBs were like 1.75 to 1 touchdown to interception ratio between the 1970s and 80s. Hall of Fame QBs, right?
Right.
Now you got Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, almost 4 to 1. So for every 4 touchdowns they throw, they'll throw a pick. Do I think they're that much talented compared to the 70s, 80s? No. Do I think they're more talented? Yeah, I do. I would take Brady over a Bradshaw. I would take a Russell Wilson over a Bradshaw or a Joe Namath. But I believe with how they played defense back in the day, I think it'd be really, really hard, if that makes sense. But I do believe for the year or two they do a whole defensive switch up or offense switch up, like in, I believe, the 80s. Buddy Ryan did the 4-6 defense. It shocked every offensive coordinator for the first couple years because they're used to just running, and the 4-6 helps slow down the run. So then his defense looked, amazing. Or like, what was that? Miami came out with the Wildcat, right, a few years ago?
Yeah.
And killed everybody, right?
Yeah.
for a year.
And then in the 80s when Bill Walsh came up with the West Coast offense with Joe Montana and them.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So yes, besides those like couple years where there's something brand new, like a genius thinks outside the box, because that's what they really are. They didn't follow the same old, oh, we're gonna run the ball out of I form or wing T. We're gonna run it this way, whoop de whoop. Like, look at that. Buddy Ryan came out with the 4-6. I believe he was with the Bears defensive coordinator at that time with Mike Ditka, and I believe that's when they won against the New England Patriots in the 1985 Super Bowl. I might be a little bit off, excuse me, but I'm just saying, and it shocks people, or like the read option with Colin Kaepernick and Frank Gore and Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch. Devastated. How are they going to stop these offenses? Well, you give coordinators a year or two, and they stop it. But I do think Brady, Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. Am I missing a QB that's really, really good right now, Trey? Drew Brees. Excuse me.
Drew Brees, yeah.
I think they'd all be good. I think they'd all be Hall of Fame. But I don't think their numbers would be as exaggerated as they are now. And I know this generation might want to argue with me on that, but I'm just being fair. I'm just trying to be fair. I mean, you could club the wide receivers. You could club the QBs. I mean, you can't hit the knee anymore because of the Brady rule. You know what the 1980s would have told Brady? Suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, it is a little bit different, bro. It is a little bit different. And I believe that, yes, Brady would still be a Hall of Famer. His numbers wouldn't look as good. And I'm even saying that for Russell and Aaron. Their numbers wouldn't look as good, but they'd still be the best of the best at that era. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's kind of funny because earlier you said something about Joe Namath and I remember because with the NFL 100 quarterbacks, they had a website where you could, like as a fan, you could be like, okay, I picked this guy to be selected for one of the 100 quarterbacks, and that Joe Namath's name was on there, and I was like, dude, if Joe Namath makes the NFL 100, like I'd be done, like. Literally all Joe Namath did was make a promise that his team was gonna win, and then he got lucky. Like
boy, was that a good promise, though, man. Broadway Joe. I'm just saying, like, or Joe Montana. I mean, it's different eras. Like I'm gonna look up just so I make sure, but the '90s were a little bit different. I know he did. He was 80s and late 70s, I believe. But just for fun, let's do his stats. You can go ahead and bring up the next topic if you want. I just want to see, like,
yeah.
So in 15 years, he threw 273 touchdowns. Now remember, this is a guy that they said was the greatest of all time. Now Tom Brady has passed him, and Joe Montana is number 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
273 touchdowns in 15 years. So that is average. What would that be average on? In 15 years, 270 touchdowns would be almost close to 20. Interceptions 139. So it's basically what I said. About 1.9 to 1. But that's your GOAT. You see what I'm saying? Totally different year. Totally different era is what I'm saying. Do I think he'd dot people up this era? Hell yeah. Hell yeah would he dot up. But it's a different generation. I guess that's what I'm saying. I think Brady would be like Joe Montana.
Right.
And just really quick, we have a bunch of people in here. We have 35 people. Shout out to them. If you guys have any questions, we will answer them at the end of the podcast. So go ahead and throw the questions out to us, and we will answer at the end of the podcast in the last 15 minutes. But go ahead, Trey. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Nah, it's all good. I was just gonna say because, I mean, maybe we can have, maybe that's gonna be a good. I mean, also, while I'm at it, I'd like to give a shout out to a guy on YouTube. His name is Vaughn Allen Sports. You can look up his channel on YouTube, but he actually made a little bit of a sports debate, basically going in depth about the debate about Joe Montana and Tom Brady, and it's actually a very good, well-researched project. So if anyone's interested in that type of a thing, definitely go check that out. But maybe that's something we could talk about later on. And I kind of want to know what your opinion on this is, because really the only thing that I kind of get mad at is when people say that, Joe Montana won his 4 Super Bowls, or lived his whole career without a cheating scandal. But I mean, cheating back then, and people were different back then. Like, do you think that if Joe Montana was playing and there was something about Spygate or Deflategate, that the people, because people were different back then, do you think that people would care? People would even care about that back in the day?
I do in the sense because, I mean, a lot of them were steroid users back in the day. I mean, and they used tons of stickum. That's what a lot of people joke about. People here, I'll say this, and I'm not including you, Trey, on this. I'm including, when Brady and Montana were arguing about who's better, when I think Brady had 4 championships at the time, and he was 4-2 or 4-1, and I believe Montana went 4-0. Well, here's the thing. Damn, man, I just had a brain fart. Oh, it's basically who they're arguing, who you like better. Joe Montana fans, 49er fans, or just old school fans were yeah, well, Tom Brady had Spygate, Tom Brady's Belichick, they're cheaters, whoop-de-whoop. Tom Brady fans, New England fans, yeah, well, Joe Montana didn't have a salary cap, so they could pay for all the best players. Think about if Tom Brady could pay for all the best players, or Belichick, or New England, excuse me. Or they argued about Jerry Rice used so much stickum on his hands. How it wasn't even illegal back then. Nowadays you can't, but you can only do so much now compared to back then. And it's well, we didn't, a lot of our players didn't have gloves. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, here's the thing. They're both good. They're in a different generation, just like Steve Largent and Terrell Owens. Both great Hall of Famers in a different generation, different era. It's not fair to argue.
Right. And that's a good point too about the gloves, because if you've ever seen wide receiver gloves up close, I mean, it's relatively close. I mean, to stick them, I'll say that. I mean, it's basically in the same boat, I would say. And like you said, a lot of them back then didn't even wear gloves, so.
Yeah, well, and it's okay, so Little Red just gave a good point. Well, Antonio Brown, they could even pay for, New England couldn't pay all of his criminal charges. Antonio Brown, we never heard about him getting rape charges. I think she's talking about Antonio Brown. Never heard of Jerry Rice getting a rape allegation. I understand what you're talking about, Little Red, but the same thing is social media is as good as it is, it's the devil. I don't believe for a second that players in the 80s and 90s and 70s were cleaner than the players nowadays. I think they did as shady stuff as possible. I love Michael Jordan. That guy was a dick. He cheated on his wife tons of times. he he was a gambleaholic, however you say the damn word. Excuse me on that right now.
Yeah.
But can you imagine? Can you imagine if ESPN was like it was back in the day now, or back in the day now, and Twitter and Facebook is out there and all that stuff, and you see Michael Jordan at 4 a.m. gambling $100,000 chips when he's got a playoff game that afternoon? Or how about Lawrence Taylor snorting a line of cocaine in the club? What about Mike Tyson? You can't tell me they wouldn't be as bad as nowadays.
Yeah. It's funny. I mean, like, because I forgot how it happened randomly, but I think that we were talking about something, and then I brought up the fact about how people nowadays, they say, oh, these, the NFL players now are divas, and this, that, and the other, and I mean, it is true to some extent, but I mean, like Shane said, like, if you could imagine, like, if they had social media back in the day, I mean, Lawrence Taylor was on coke, like, not even just like trying to fabricate it, like dead ass. He was on coke, so it's like, I mean, if there was social media back then, I feel like it would almost make like this current era look like Disneyland. Like,
well, and it's like Little Red said too. Another good thing that I forgot about, Lawrence Taylor soliciting a 14-year-old prostitute. Can you imagine?
That's actually the first time I've even heard about that.
I do believe I've heard that too. Now that you brought that up, it's crazy. Like Deion Sanders, he was a huge ass diva, but there wasn't social media. You know what I mean? There wasn't a bunch of social media to get people caught up, and like, I'm just saying, like, I loved Michael Jordan. Like, I thought he was so cool. Like, everybody to be like Mike, but I was a little kid, and if this was all over social media, he's a worse person. And I'm not saying he's a horrible person. Like, I don't agree with cheating on your spouse, so a different topic for a different day, but
yeah,
he wasn't as clean cut as even a guy like LeBron. And LeBron gets crapped on for, like, him not being a killer instinct as Kobe. You know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah. So.
That's a good topic, though. That's a real good topic. People like it. We got people commenting, and I agree. It's really hard. Like, social media, as good as it is, like, you can find old friends. You can have people get helped out for a kidney. All fantastic stuff, but at the same time, it is so cancerous in the sense of, like, there's still online bullying. Like, look, if you were getting bullied back in the day when I was in school, you go home, you got away from it. Now what? You get on social media and they're still picking on you. But that's a different opinion.
Yeah.
Shout out to the 88 in here.
Yeah, shout out to the, I mean, that's like, you basically just described the Madden, which I don't know what it is, because, like, I don't know if it's, like, people in the Madden community, maybe they get picked on in real life, so that's why they, like, they get online and then they start talking, and that's actually kind of brings up another subject, which kind of has nothing to do with nothing else, but I'm gonna try to be relatively quick about it, because I remember playing. Because Shane, I don't think you really were into video games until like not that long ago, correct? Like,
Well, I mean, when I was younger, bro, I did like baseball and college football. I didn't do Madden.
Yeah, but I'm talking about in terms like you never like you didn't really play like games like online or like
No,
talk to
correct.
people.
No,
Okay,
no.
right. So, I remember because I'm like 22 now, and if any of you guys, since we have people in the chat here, like, do any of you guys remember the Xbox 360 days online? I mean, some of that stuff was cool, but I mean, a lot of it was like toxic to like a 100th degree. So, and my whole thing is, and I've told Shane this many times, but it's like it's one thing to be like, oh, you suck at video games, like you're trash at Madden, because it's like, that stuff's fine. But I mean, people saying like, and even like, people saying racist stuff to messages, just saying all this wild stuff. But the problem is that because they're behind the PS4 controller or the Xbox controller or the computer screen, they think that they can just say whatever they want and that they could get away with it. But in the same
It's bad.
but at the same sense, like if I came up to someone in real life and I'd be like, "Hey, what's up now?" They'd probably say something like, "It was just a joke. Like, why are you taking that stuff seriously?" So.
Well, yeah, it's like Little Red says, is that Xbox Live Modern Warfare OG lobbies of the early 2000s, everyone's mother was getting screwed and that they'd end up finding them.
Yo, okay, I mean that's bad, but I forgot about the lobbies. The lobbies, anyone in here like remembers the Madden 09 lobbies. They need to bring back the lobbies back online, low key. I mean, those lobbies were actually pretty.
Yeah, I do remember that in like Madden 11 and 13.
Yeah.
Shout out to the 138 people in here. West Coast Madden Podcast. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. They have, and I think back in the day they had like, yeah, it was pretty awesome. They had like the east lobbies, the west lobbies, just all this other stuff. Like it was pretty slick. So.
I heard they took it away because of MUT. And I'm not entirely sure if that's true or not, but I've heard that they took it away because they didn't want people gambling as much. And they found out that a lot of people were gambling, like Gamerson, Players Lounge, other websites, and they just wanted to kind of monopolize the Madden money.
Yeah.
And it kind of worked, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, that could be part of the reason. I think that also one part of the reason, because I remember, because back then, like if you got online to Madden and you were like, okay, I want to play against someone online. Well, you would have to like invite someone to a game, but then when someone would join your game, like it would show like your record. Whereas now, like if you load into a game, you can't tell what their record is anymore. And I think that might be a reason because people were having like hard times finding games, because I guess if you had like a really bad record back then I guess no one would really want to play you. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but
It's a lot of it, I mean, you gotta have a thicker skin. Like, I'm not soft.
yeah.
But, if you're racist or the person's sexual orientation, that's not cool at all to me. It's not cool. You're a little punk. Like, grow up. But if you say that I suck and, like, I'm garbage at the game, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Like, I suck. Yep. I mean, you've heard me.
I think, and it's crazy because I think it almost gets like misconstrued to where, I mean, if you're someone that likes to talk trash, in a respectful manner, that it gets misconstrued to like, oh, this guy's, he's cocky, I don't like him because he's this. But I mean, if anyone's been like, into sports or like competed in sports, and like I think they would understand. It's like, it's not that you're like cocky. It's just like you're competitive. So, and I think that in a way, trash talking kind of brings out, competitiveness, because, I mean, if you're competing in sports and you're just kind of like not fired up at all, and you're just like monotone, just like, you know what I mean? So, I think it kind of gets misconstrued.
Oh, You know, I like trash talking. Don't get me wrong, I like it. I like it. I almost play better, honestly, and I know I'm using myself enough as examples, but I almost play better. I don't know about you, Trey, but I play better. Talk that good stuff about me. But a lot of people, boy, oh boy, do they wilt. Do they get scared? Do they crap out? I mean, do you remember the guy that I was streaming that was being a racist? And then I started talking smack to him. I didn't cross the line at all, did I? I wasn't. I just talked a lot of good crap to him about how he was garbage and he sucked. And did he fall apart to you? Yeah, he kind of fell apart. Yeah, I mean, but it does make it interesting. Just kind of like Joel. He talks a lot. He's entertaining for people, but boy, is he a front runner.
Yeah, he's a front runner. I don't know, Joel. He doesn't really like. He's not like, you know, like someone like Volteraz that have said like wild stuff like.
No.
I mean, what kind of triggers you most? Is like Joel like talking trash, just being like, you know, like a dork, or like, you know, people saying like, you know,
racist
like,
stuff or like stuff like that. You know what's crazy, bro? Honestly, people can call me racist stuff, and it doesn't affect me.
Right.
It really doesn't. Even talking trash to me doesn't affect me as much, unless you get super personal. And like, I know that's weird because people are like, "Whoa, if they make fun of your skin color, that's personal." Yeah, but it's still broad.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's broad to me. Like, but if you're talking about my family, or you're talking about me, or you're talking about just certain things, I'll get mad.
Yeah.
The one thing I don't let people do is if they get in my bubble. Whereas, like, I've noticed on some of the tournaments, some of the people yelling. Like, I mean, even Joke when he told Henry, don't get
Yeah.
I agree with Joke on that. You better back up, dude. You want to talk and say I'm garbage, good job. But you trying to be all tough, that doesn't go the same way. Dang, Little Red, you broke your foot? Damn, that sucks. I mean, I think Trey's New Year's going really good. Mine's going pretty good, like I said, you know. I got a couple months until I got a second child, but it'll be fun. It'll be interesting. And Chad, yes, a lot of watchers. Shout out to the 154 in here.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So, but I mean, like, and it's like, one more thing going back to our original topics. Hashtag. Let's get a hashtag prayers for Red in the stream since she broke her foot. So that's rough. But anyway, no, I think that I don't even think people that say like, you know, racist stuff, like, I don't even really think that they're like, I mean, obviously they probably have some racist, you know, bones, but I think it's a lot of it just people that know that they're behind the PS4 controller or the Xbox controller, that know that they can just say it. But if they're in like a public setting, do you think that Volt would say what he said in like a public place?
No.
So,
you know, I don't think so. I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people do it to scare you and intimidate you and make you get off your game. As effed up as that sounds, it is what it is. Like, here, I'll give you guys an example. Okay, so R rating coming on. Well, I'll keep it PG-13 because it is a podcast. Playing this guy, right? I beat him. He gets on. He is a guy. He's a black guy.
Right.
Funny story, okay? He gets on, calls me cracker, honky, white boy, whoop-de-whoop. And I apologize to anybody who's from the South who's a cracker. I didn't mean it like that. No, I didn't mean. I apologize for that. I meant anybody from the South who's white is considered a cracker. That's the term. If you guys want to know what the term is, that's what it means. That's what cracker is. I'm not. I wouldn't even be considered a cracker, even though I'm white, because I'm from the northern states. I said it backwards when I said that. I was looking at the screen. So, like, it's because of the slave plantations and owners, white owners way back in the day. They were called crackers in the South, I believe. I will actually look that up to make sure I'm right. But anyways, so he was calling me, all that names and stuff, right? Well, at the end of the game, I beat him. He was like, "Oh, good job. I just wanted to see if you would call me certain slurs." As an African American, I was trying to see if you were gonna call me that. He's like, "I have mad class for you. A lot of these people on here, if I start talking crap, they'll end up calling me racial slurs. Where you didn't, I give you mad respect. Whoop-de-whoop." And then I was like, "Yeah, but do you think that's fair that you were calling me racist names?" He's like, "Yeah, but there's." Exactly. He's like, "Well, I was trying to push your buttons." And I go, "Yeah, do you think they try to do that to you?" And he goes, "Yeah, fair enough, bro." And he ended up being a friend request, and I talked to him off and on. Ends up being a cool guy. So, I mean, I think sometimes they just try to push people's buttons. I mean, even, look, I'll say sometimes I try to push people's buttons when I'm talking crap. Because, like, Trey, like I've talked to you about, it gets in people's heads. Now, do I go that route? No. But,
no.
Okay, here's what it is. A cracker is a racial slur for white people, for poor rural white people in southern United States. So I was wrong. It wasn't for rich people.
Yeah. Okay.
It's for people that grew up in Florida and Georgia mainly.
So it's like rednecks.
Oh, never mind. Frederick Law Olmsted, an architect from Connecticut, visited the South in the 1850s and said crackers own some African Americans. It's just how they look, I guess.
Okay.
But it also is for a lot of it's still used nowadays, for poor southern white people. So, anyways, I was close enough. I mean, education for everyone out there.
Yeah. Has there ever been a moment where and I guess you don't really have to go into, I guess, like, great detail about it, but has there ever been a moment, and maybe not just Madden, but it could be like, maybe you're in like a chat room or something back in the day, but has there ever been a topic to where, like, you went off on somebody, but then you kind of felt bad, or like you felt like you probably shouldn't have said those things because...
Bro, to this day I still do that.
Okay.
You're talking about where I talk a lot of crap to somebody and then later on I feel bad?
Yeah.
I mean, I've done that a few times even this year. I mean, did they start it? Yes. But then I feel like I kind of tore them down. I could hear how their voice changed, and I just kind of felt bad. Yes, I do. Yes, and I do it way less than I ever did. Yeah, back in the day, yeah. I mean, nobody's a perfect person in this world. Nobody. But there still won't be certain things that you'll hear me say or do. For whatever reason, yes. I mean, I probably said some stuff that would be, like, in nowadays world, inappropriate, not nice. But it was a different decade growing up. You have to change.
For sure. Yeah.
Shout out to the 218 in here.
Yeah. Shout out to the 208 people, but alright, let's get into I appreciate you guys listening here and listening to us ramble on about literally nothing at all.
Yo, but isn't that what a podcast is, bro? I mean, we kind of, rambled on, but, bless be us.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, let's so the next topic, we're gonna go over the predictions for the wild card playoff rounds. let us know in the chat section who you guys got for the games coming up. But so let's go over the AFC side of things. So the first game we have the 10-6 Buffalo Bills taking on the 10-6 Houston Texans. The Texans are at home. I mean, Josh Allen, he's pretty good. I actually like Josh Allen quite a bit. I think the Buffalo Bills as a whole, they're a pretty good team. Their defense is a little bit suspect to me. I mean, they did a good job containing Lamar Jackson, but I don't know. For some reason, there's something that doesn't really strike me about the defense that I kind of don't like. So I kind of want to go Buffalo here. You know what? I'm gonna take Buffalo. I think that's gonna be my upset pick. I'm gonna take Buffalo over Houston, but
I'm gonna
Shane,
go
who do you have
Houston.
over
I got
this
Houston.
game?
Hey,
Oh, you got
keep
Houston.
our record, bro. Keep our record for fun. I'm gonna rely on you to keep the records
All right, I
for
got
wild
you.
card weekend and
We
then all that good stuff.
we yeah. Now that I think about it, because we used to do the same thing like before, like when the Thursday night football games were going on. Like I would ask you and be like, who do you think's gonna win this game? I should have been keeping track of records back then, but we'll keep that going for next year. So, all right. So for Saturday, the late time, we have the Tennessee Titans with Ryan Tannehill. So two good quarterbacks that are on the upstart. I mean, Tannehill took over Marcus Mariota and he's basically led this team pretty well, and they can run the ball, Derrick Henry and all that. So, and they're going to be taking on the Patriots, and it's kind of sounding like a broken record. It's like, oh well, when you count the Patriots out, they turn around and then all of a sudden they're in the Super Bowl again. I don't, and I've been a Patriots fan ever since I grew up watching the Patriots. Rodney Harrison, Deion Branch, Troy Brown, people like that. I can't remember seeing a worse supporting cast for this team. I mean, Julian Edelman's a good receiver, but he needs someone to play off of. He's not a number one receiver. He's just not. I mean, the defense has been carrying him. Stephon Gilmore, best corner in the league. I mean, that's a well-known fact. So I just can't see how New England gets it done. I know it's a home game, but I'm thinking that Tennessee wins this game, and I think this might be Tom Brady's last season as a Patriot. So I got Tennessee winning this one. So Shane, what do you think?
I got New England.
You got New
I
England.
think it's gonna be 27-13 New England.
Okay. Do you think that Tom Brady stays with New England, or do you think that this might be his?
Man, I think it's either this year or next year, bro.
Yeah.
I know what you mean though.
Right. All right. So that's Saturday night's games. Now let's go to the NFC wildcard games. First off, we have the Minnesota Vikings and the New Orleans Saints. I really want Minnesota to win this game. I'm actually a big Minnesota fan. I really like Harrison Smith, Dalvin Cook, all that. I know that they kind of got lucky in the divisional round. Stephon Diggs with the last second, clutch catch at the end. I want Minnesota to win, but I think the Saints are kind of red hot. 13-3. I think Saints are going to take care of business here.
I got New Orleans too. I just think
Right.
Drew Brees in the dome. You're gonna have to score like 30 plus points to have a chance.
For
And I
sure.
don't believe Minnesota's gonna put up 30 plus.
All right, so we got Shane's Seattle Seahawks 11-5. Unfortunately, because of the stupid divisional record, they have to go on the road and go to Philly to take on the 9-7 Eagles. I think the storyline for this game is injuries. I mean, I don't know if you guys heard about the whole, Philadelphia people literally lining up outside the medical tents and, the whole debacle that went on there. So, but I mean, and also Shane, I'm gonna ask you this: like, what's your thoughts? I mean, we talked about it a little bit before the podcast, but I mean, what's your thoughts about Marshawn Lynch coming back to the squad? And how do you think the Seattle team is gonna fare with
I love it.
Marshawn Lynch and all that?
I love it, man. I love it. I mean, it's not like like when a team's super bad and you bring back an old time player just for like nostalgia, but I think he'll do pretty good. I think Travis Homer is a guy that is going to have some big plays. He has 4.3 speed. I don't think he's big enough, and I think he'll get hurt maybe down in the road, but I actually have Seahawks winning 23-20. It's going to be close. I think Russell Wilson will struggle in the wind. It's supposed to be about 25 miles per hour. But I don't believe he will make as many mistakes as Carson Wentz will. That's just my opinion. Hey, shout out to the 334 people in here.
For sure.
But yes, I think the Seahawks will win. I do enjoy Marshawn being there. I think Marshawn will have a touchdown. Travis Homer will have a touchdown. And I think actually the Seahawks offense will kick 3 field goals. And everybody will be like, oh, it's over in San Fran. But we'll see. We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, I think it's kind of special to have Marshawn back, and I mean, I think Shane can kind of attest to this, but that 2014 to 2015 team, I mean, that was something special. I mean, it really was. I mean, that's when, and I feel like after that, I mean, everything's still solid, but I mean, that 1 year of like the Legion of Boom with Earl, Cam, all of them, I feel like that was like a special team.
Well, yeah, I mean, from 2012 and 2015, the defense was rated number 1. 2013, they won the Super Bowl. 2014, unfortunately, they lost on the 1-yard line to New England. But like they said, 2013 team was voted the team of the decade, which rightfully so. It was the best defense that people had seen in 20, 30 years in an offensive era. I mean, you had Earl Thomas at the free safety position, Cam Chancellor at strong safety, Richard Sherman, Brandon Browner, Byron Maxwell, and Jeremy Lane as quarterbacks, which is very good, very, very good. Obviously, even the guy, Maxwell and Lane, and then you had. What's that?
And then Michael Bennett.
You had Michael Bennett. You had Cliff Averill. You had Jefferson. You had obviously Bobby Wagner, a young Bobby Wagner, a young KJ Wright. I mean, that team was about as good as you could do. I mean, on the defensive side, yes, most of the money was spent on the defensive side, but then on the offensive side, you had a young Marshawn and a young Russell Wilson with Baldwin and Golden Tate. And then you had Percy Harvin. Even though Percy Harvin didn't do much besides the Super Bowl, that kick return iced the Super Bowl for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So if Seattle wins this game, are they gonna face San Fran in the first round bye? Do you know, or?
Well, if New Orleans wins and Seahawks win, it's Seahawks at San Fran. That'll be epic tiebreaker. But if Minnesota upsets, Seahawks win, Seahawks will go play Green Bay, Vikings will go play San Fran.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And then on the AFC side, whoever wins the Buffalo and Texans games, that's going to be the team that plays Baltimore. And then for the Tennessee and New England, whoever plays will play KC. I believe that's how it works.
Yeah, it's something like that. I don't know much about the AFC side because I mean I'm worried about the Seahawks, but
yeah, I feel you.
What's up, West Coast Madden Podcast? Treve from Treve Talks. Y'all got a ridiculous amount of viewers right now. Make sure you subscribe to Treve Talks. I'm going to take this opportunity. We got a video dropping in an hour and a half, so go ahead and do that.
Trey, you're fired.
He just clouded off of our name. That's not cool. What do you have to say?
Subscribe to Treve Talks and videos dropping in an hour and a half. Make sure you watch it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. We kind of clout. Low key, but who doesn't when you're trying to get your stuff off the ground? But
what the fuck? Why do y'all got so many viewers on?
We do not know. Shane, do you know why we have so?
Okay, so here's the story, and just so you guys know, that's Trey's brother.
It's Trey from Treve Talks. Subscribe.
We're definitely not view botting.
Yeah, no. So it started. Trey, you remember this? It started with the random one West Coast Madden podcast. We had 35 or 40.
Yeah.
And I found out it was some Fortnite guy that was promoting us for whatever reason.
It was. Yeah, I don't know. Was it? It was from some ad or something like that, right? Something along the lines.
It was like their channel.
Oh, okay.
Well, so if you guys missed it, and I'm going over this because we're describing why all of a sudden we have so many people in the stream, and I appreciate it. I greatly appreciate it. Last time I did a stream, it was Mr. Beast who promoted us.
No, how did you pull that?
I don't know.
I have a screenshot. I can show you on my phone after this.
Mr. Beast, huh?
And tell him to go into our channel, and he can go ahead and promote inside my stream.
Oh yeah, the sponsored channels or something.
And hey Chad, you can post your YouTube channel up on here too. Since we have so many people, it doesn't offend me. Just ask me.
Yeah.
It doesn't bug me. As long as you guys are subscribers and been around for a while with us. But no, yeah, it was it's crazy. So so this popular Fortnite guy, and then Mr. Beast the last stream, and I would assume it's probably Mr. Beast again. I could be wrong. I don't know. We're definitely not botting.
Definitely not botting. So yeah, subscribe to Treve Talks. I'll put a link to his channel. I'm pretty sure you commented on one of his videos before though.
Yeah, so, I'm the only Treve Talks around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done bugging you.
Okay. So, anyway, with that being said, it was pretty good. I almost feel like this was kind of like a legit podcast. I almost feel like this might be the way that we do podcasts from now on, because not really having a set schedule, but just
Nah, this was legit. Hey, this was legit, bro. It was definitely legit. Like I said, shout out to all the people that came in. So, hopefully we continue this. Wait, did we miss? We went over all the wildcard games, right? Just make sure.
Yeah, we did. So
okay.
Does anyone in the chat have any questions or?
I don't. You guys, anyone in here have a question? If not, we're done, right?
Yeah. I have nothing else
anyone have a question in here? We'll answer. I will go over. Little Red did ask. I forgot. Little Red asked, "Who do you think the best running back in Madden is for Mutt?" She said, "Do you think Eric Dickerson is still the best?" What do you think, Trey? I told her I think Bo Jackson, souped up on training points, is up there as well, because I have him at 96 speed.
I think as far as Mutt, I think everyone's using Eric Dickerson. So I would say Eric Dickerson probably, because I think Eric Dickerson is the perfect combination between power, but also has speed. But I mean, for me, and I've been playing Mud Drafts, and I've seen people have the CJ2K, which I want to try out, but I've literally never seen him in any of the drafts, but I want to try him out. Like, if it was up to me, I would want a CJ2K, but...
Oh, wow, you can get Eric... Yo, so I'm on an auction, you guys, and you can get Eric Dickerson as a power-up card now. Wow.
Yeah,
so hold on.
Go to your, so buy the power-up card, and then go to your item binder, and then quick sell all your players. And then if you have coins, just buy a bunch of, like, Hail Mary packs, and then quick sell everything for training. And just power them all the way up. So,
oh, Eric Dickerson, I think, might be gone for salary cap. Last chance qualifier.
Too much cap. Sure.
Unless it's just a power-up card. Because they did the 94 Eric Dickerson that people were using, made him 999.
Okay.
Shout out to 383 out here in the stream.
Yeah, but I think Lil Red is just looking to play some weekend leagues.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, Little Red, I got a question since you're in here. Eric Dickerson, you said, was always a power-up card, and you needed his 94 for super OP, but
yeah,
he's at 999 though. He wasn't at that before, right? Like, I don't believe he was 999 because then nobody would have been able to use him in salary cap.
Unless maybe they only powered him up like halfway or something.
So if you're in my podcast right now, I pulled up my Bo Jackson compared to the 94 Eric Dickerson. I'm just gonna go over it. Oh yeah, you can't use him in salary cap. Little Red said now. So they did change it, yeah. So they did change it. Appreciate that, Little Red. So if you look at my screen right now, Trey, are you in the podcast stream at all?
No.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say if you want to look at this really quick and tell me what you think.
All right.
I'll let you guys. Little Red, what do you think, Bo or Eric Dickerson? My Bo or the 94 Eric? And then I'll let Trey go ahead and look at it. And then I had multiple questions earlier, and if you guys didn't hear, a lot of the questions were, how come you've had so many people in your podcast the last podcast and the last stream? And like I said, the last stream ended up being because the famous Mr. Beast promoted somehow this channel. The podcast before was from a popular Fortnite guy. What's up, Sports? You got any questions too as we get off?
Yo, Sports is back. I haven't heard from Sports in a while. What's going on, bro? How's it been going? Yeah.
Okay, Little Red, you think this Dickerson's better than my Bo?
How is it that the Eric, like your Bo Jackson, has like better stats for the most part, and you can use them in salary cap, but Eric Dickerson has worse stats and you can't use them in salary cap? How does that work?
I have no, I don't have any idea. I know that the reason why mine is so high is because I souped him up on training points.
Right. Yeah, you gotta get that. Do you have jukebox on him yet? Because I remember you talking to me about.
No, that. I just have Sprinter on him right now.
Okay.
So I have Sprinter, yes, and Little Red, you're right. I have 27 people with Sprinter, 26 with Sprinter. So yeah, so I got like +2 speed. But that's so weird because you saw what I was talking about, Trey, right, with the cards?
Yeah.
Bo Jackson's way better, huh? Just stat-wise, anyways.
Yeah.
So I guess I just don't know. I mean, maybe Eric Dickerson is like a little bit of a glitch, like Little Red was saying.
Which is kind of sketchy when you think about it. It's like so this card doesn't have the best stats in the game, but but he has a little bit of a secret formula to him.
Right? Is it like Troy Apke? You know what I mean? He's kind of not a good player, but He's amazing. Yes, Eric Dickerson's an amazing player, an amazing card.
Yeah.
But there has to be a reason. And when in doubt, give the ball to Eric Dickerson. Yo, you're going to have to watch me in last chance qualifier. Y'all going to have to try to stop me with this bow. I promise you. 96 speed. Yo, Trey, 96 speed, bro. That's crazy. And Sports, that's tight that you're PS4 now. That's really, really good. That's a good Christmas gift. I know that PS5 is coming out next Christmas. But I'm not going to buy it until the following year because shout out to the 457 in here. I'm not going to get the PS5 until probably the following summer because all the Madden tournaments are still going to be on PS4. So I don't need to run and spend a bunch of money on that.
Isn't that crazy to think about, though, how, like, we're already going to be in, like, the new generation of consoles already?
Yeah, in the first month I'm going to be hella confused how to use it.
Right.
I'm already old-timer already. I'm going to be hella confused. That's not lying right there for sure. You know what? I'm going to ask 8-Ball, am I winning Mud Draft? That's a pretty ass tree, Sports. Anybody got any more questions before we get out of here? I really hate to do that when we have 400 plus people in the chat.
Right.
Little Red says it's just that his ability, he's the only running back that can break 3 tackles behind the line of scrimmage and still go for a touchdown. I know. I bet that's why they put him to 999 then. Because I believe what you're saying, Little Red.
And I think that I think you might have an X factor because there's some players that, like, you know how when they have their X factors and then when you get them to a zone, then they're like red.
Yes.
But I think Eric Dickerson is like he's red from like the start of the game until you can tackle him for like negative yards. So maybe that has something to do with it. But
yeah, but see, you can do that with this bow.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
But I think she's saying that he has he's a freight train 100 or whatever. And so
just like Randy Moss, the new Randy Moss has like the Moss ability.
Yeah, let's see if they did that for. You know what? Let's just go to NFL 100 and see if they did it for everybody. Like,
yeah,
maybe they messed up.
Yeah, you can go to the auction house and then under like where it says the program, it'll say like NFL 100 like on the bottom right.
Yep. Just gotta follow what I'm doing, you guys, and then you see. Nope. See, Dwight Stevenson's a 94. Oh nope. See, a lot of 999 for this middle linebacker. The only ones that don't have it are the offensive line. What's that, Little Red? What are you saying? Let's see, Ronnie Lott's 999. So yep. So they don't want people to have them. Jim Brown's 999.
Yeah, Devin Hester is not 999.
No.
The 94 one,
The 94 Emmitt Smith's 999 too.
Oh.
What one did you say? The Dion?
No, the Devin Hester, the 94 one.
Where is he on here? I don't see him on here.
He is 94 to 95. He's a wide receiver.
Well, I mean, I know who he is. I don't see him.
Oh, you don't.
Oh, you need the goggles, Little Red, to be awesome. Damn, I need to get goggles for this tournament then coming up. I'll be hella good. Yeah, but see, So I'm confused. Why are they putting all the 94s besides the linemen at 999?
That's a good question, honestly. It's a good because the 94 center is the 94 center is only 29 cap. Oh.
Yeah, see, 94 Barry Sanders. Oh, okay, Little Red. You're saying it's because of the abilities. So, yeah, they must not want people doing it. Like, the kicker, still okay. Randy Moss is 999 too now. Wow. Yep, they're not going to let it in the tournament. So, people better get used to it unless they figure out how to change it. Rod Woodson 94 is 999. Oh, okay, Little Red. So you're saying that they kind of screwed up on the abilities, so now they're making these guys not be able to be played in the salary cap. Oh, Jim Brown has Wrecking Ball 100. Oh, see, Little Red, you're smart. I don't play the normal MUT. I just play like salary cap where you have a limit on the teams. So yeah, Trey, that kind of makes sense, huh?
You haven't, Shane. You haven't lived until you.
Well, I'll take that back. I shouldn't lie. I've played like 3 games, and I don't want to smash my head against the wall because it was on All Pro. It was on All Pro, and then this guy ran triple option with Lamar Jackson, Bo Jackson, Eric Dickerson, and Christian Okoye. All he did was run, and I couldn't do anything.
Imagine like playing against that for 25 games over the span of 2 days in week in league.
Yo, I wouldn't even do it. No, I saw it, and I'm not messing around with that. That is definitely like so. Okay, so the NFL 100 is basically you can't use unless they're linemen.
Yeah.
You said Devin Hester doesn't have it on him?
No, Devin Hester does. He's 999.
I think they just changed it because I didn't think they did. Yeah, I agree, Little Red, that the abilities are super OP versus normal squads. Yeah, it's not fair. I agree. I mean, I agree that. So, you know what people should do actually, Trey? You know what'd be really smart is, put a right tackle or left tackle. I believe he's a 94 overall. You know how much extra time you would have to throw the ball or run?
A lot. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to invest in a good line. I want to get the. I think he's the 93, the one in Draft Champions, the 93 Joe Thomas. I kind of want to get that card. So, and I got I don't know if you saw this, but I have Ted Hendricks. He's the 93 overall, and he has reinforcement. So.
Oh, he's amazing even without that, though. Just so you know, he does block shed a lot. Yeah, Little Red, Lawrence Taylor is 999 cap. Yep, Sports Network next year's 101 season, bro. Like, see, right now I have the Anthony Munez 91 left tackle. That one out is 94, and he's just way better on everything. Like, pass blocking, 92 to 89. And then there's one, you guys, the center, Dwight Stevenson. If I compare, my center sucks compared to him. Like, it has no strength. Huh.
What's your, who's your quarterback right now in your team?
Aaron Rodgers, 93 overall.
I have Randall Cunningham, 94 at the moment.
You have the 94 Randall?
Yeah, the 94. I powered him all the way up.
Oh yeah, bro. I'd put Escape Artist on him. I know that you don't use it, but I still would. Yeah, Little Red, you're right. The difference in salary cap is abilities. I don't know if you were in one of the podcasts, and Trey, you remember this, but a guy that I know from EA, he said that either the offensive or the abilities next year, all the abilities next year will either be gone or they'll be fixed up so they can be used better and not be as OP. I think that's what they're already trying to do in salary cap, if that makes sense.
Okay, so if you could pick two abilities, two abilities to get away completely, like to not have them in the game, and then two abilities that you would actually keep, like what would they be? So you have to get rid of two abilities but keep two.
I'm with Little Red. I think they all just need to be gone. I think they bail people out.
Okay.
But to answer your question, in Little Red, I agree with that comment. Mutt would be way better. I agree. Enforcer would be gone.
Okay.
And Secure Tackler would be gone. Escape Artist would be gone. I know you said only two. Dashing Deadeye would be gone. What I would personally keep is Zone Hawk would be okay. Precision Passer or whatever, where I believe if you get hot, you can pass with precision and playmaker or whatever. I don't have a problem with certain things like that, but like the jukebox, the brawler or whatever it is, where they running back and knock over everyone, secure tackler. Yeah, secure tackler. Shout out to the 500 people in here. The secure tackler, the enforcer, I don't like it. Plus, I would get rid of a lot of stuff, like the whole clicking off. This one guy and I were talking on Twitter, and he agreed with me. He is he's a Fortnite guy that makes decent money. He said, I didn't check to see if he's right or wrong, but he said that he agreed with me that clicking off. And I know, Trey, you do it too, but I'm not trying to throw you under the bus. But clicking off is terrible. Because he was saying that you should be awesome at the game if you're really the top players in the game. So for watching like a pro player click off, he said that never happened in Fortnite. He goes, can you imagine me running and about to shoot somebody and I click off and the computer shoots them for me? That just wouldn't happen, which I agree with.
Yeah, I mean, I agree too, and I agree. Like, I mean, I click off, but I'll tell you straight up that I can't use her. Like I can't use her for nothing. Like I don't have a good user.
But the thing that I'll defend you on is you've never said you're the best of all time, that you're the greatest.
But
these guys claim that they're the greatest of all time. And to me, it's like, are you really?
Yeah. But I mean, another thing too is like with Madden, like there's more that goes into it than just like being a good user. You know what I mean? You can still, like, if you don't have a good user, you can still be like smart. And if you can play chess and you can guess what your opponent's going to do, then you could still have success in Madden.
Yeah, I don't. You know what's funny is I don't have a problem with, like, if the computer comes up and makes me fumble or they pick me off. I don't have a problem with that. I'm like, because that's just part of the game. I'm talking about specifically like they run up with the Pat Tillman with Enforcer on, they click off, the computer hits me, I fumble. Yeah. And then they win the game, and they say they're so awesome at the game. Yes, Trey, I agree. It's chess, but like I agree with Little Red. I feel like clicking off is weak, but like people who aren't as good and say, look, I'm not that good at it, and they don't talk a bunch of crap. I don't have problems with them. I have the problems again. I play against the 1%ers. I have problems with them acting like they're way better than they really are when you clicking off. You're not supposed to be able to click off and just be cool with it. I can't stand Enforcer. I can't stand, like, so I mean, thanks to Little Red, shout out to Little Red, that we found out that basically NFL 100, you can't use them in salary cap. Now, Trey, do you think they'll fix it? Do you think they'll fix it so it works, or do you think they don't? They think it's just like too much cheating?
I think there's a few programs. NFL 100, for example, that's like NFL 100 is like for the hardcore MUT players. You know what I mean? Like because because the people that play MUT to compete in the tournaments is like, I would say probably less than 50% of the people that actually play MUT. Like, a lot of people play MUT because it's like a hobby for them, and they like collecting cards and like getting the best cards and playing with them online. So,
well, you know, like,
there's also, have you heard of golden tickets in MUT before?
I don't know what that is.
Okay. Well, basically, like, MUT has a thing with golden tickets to where, they'll put them in packs, and like, if you open up a pack in it, it says you pulled a golden ticket, and then what that means is that you can literally create any card you want in the game, and you can create like whatever ratings you want your card to be. So I could create a 99 Randy Moss, and I could put whatever ratings I wanted to, and I could make them whatever position.
Is that real?
Yeah, you can look it up on YouTube. There, I saw someone pull a golden ticket before, and then I think it was Madden 17. Like, it's been going on for a while. So,
I wish I got that. That'd be cool.
what card would you make if you got
running back?
Would it be a Seahawk?
Yep.
Okay, that's
make him Marshawn.
Yeah, there you go. Make him Marshawn.
No, but you know, and what's up, Nicholas? Nicholas said, "What's up to you, Trey?"
What up, Nick?
No.
Is he the guy from Washington too?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
No, I know what you mean, bro. Like, it is for people, but like they had Eric Dickerson in the salary cap, and now they don't. I mean, so they realize it's overpowering, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll fix it."
Yeah, I wonder because you know that like the pro players are the ones that probably are able to like complain on Twitter and be like, "Oh, this is that," and then they change it. So.
Oh yeah, oh definitely. I mean, definitely, they're definitely listening to the pro players, and that's why, like, last year it sucked because they listened to the pro players and they got rid of contain glitch. But after, it hurt me. And Nicholas, I got mad too at the Seahawks-Niners game.
Yeah, that was a good game though.
It was a very good game. Little Red, I'm trying to build a MUT team, and I don't know if I should restructure my whole team because I know MUT, the pass-heavy meta is the gun-tight tight end slots. Is that the new meta coming on, Little Red? I don't know. All I've gone against in MUT draft is run. If they had the New Orleans State playbook, they put like a fast QB in and run with him, and then occasionally throw. Trey, what have you come across? Have you come across the new meta? She's saying there's a new meta, the tight end gun offset.
Yeah, gun offset. People are running. I think people are running trips a lot. Like they'll have like a crossing route, a deep crossing route, but then they'll send someone in motion and put them on a slant.
Okay.
I think DC is becoming more of a passing meta because I feel like people are finding ways to stop the run now.
Yeah, see, you know what? Actually, Little Red, I think Trey's right. I think they are passing a little bit more than they used to.
Mm-hmm.
I think also. I think Draft Champs is definitely a different game mode than Sour Cap. Obviously, I'm making like a John Madden kind of statement. Hey, it's 4th and 10. You need to punt the ball. Anyways, what I'm saying is I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's funny because, and Trey, I haven't talking to you because of your cell phone, but it's pretty crazy the difference. Like, there's Thunderball.
Yeah.
He's not that good in MUT draft. He's like 94th, and he's played a lot. It's because a lot of these guys don't know. A lot of these guys don't know how to adapt, and if they don't have abilities, it doesn't help them.
Yeah, they don't have their abilities and they don't have like the playbook that they're used to. Then it's like they can't really adapt to it. So.
Oh, definitely all that. And I'm probably gonna get annoyed for a little bit at the start when salary cap starts with
The
the
abilities.
abilities being back. Like, because I feel like I'm not gonna throw them under the bus because they've never talked about me bad. Played a couple guys that are considered pros, kind of beat them bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably would have lost if they would have had the QB ability. They had the fast Kyler Murray, but instead of doing like the whole escape artist and dashing dead or whatever it is, and then their wide receiver having whatever ability and their running back having whatever ability, they kind of got stuck. Like they had issues. Shout out to the 622 in here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be a pain, but but I feel like you'll be able to adapt though after a while.
I'm really trying to figure out though what kind of what abilities I really want to use, if that makes sense.
The one ability that I really want to get is Conductor, like, which isn't it's not an ability that a lot of people use, but it's like if you have Conductor on your quarterback, you can like just make like multiple hot routes without like waiting to get to the line of scrimmage, so like you can just like quick hike people. So.
Yeah, another reason that I'm not going to use Kyler Murray, and I don't know if you've noticed this, Trey, in Mutt Draft, but Kyler, I don't know how to say his name. Kyler Murray, Kyler,
Yeah.
Kyler Murray. He has a slow release on the deep ball.
Yeah, slow release is a no-go for me.
Aaron Rodgers, you guys, if you want a good QB, but he's not going to be. I mean, actually, I don't know how much cap my Aaron Rodgers is. He's a 92 cap, or no, excuse me, he's 92 overall with 60 something QB, but he has a fast release. Nicholas, yeah, you just got to kind of QB spy them and try to hope. And another thing is, Trey, I was going to talk to you about this, but I'll let you guys know this as well, is the Gun Panther where everybody's at the line and then they have the fast QB?
Yeah.
Nickel wide shuts it down completely.
Even with fast break and escape artist.
I just do QB contain, and if you have very good defensive ends with great play recognition, you have a very good chance to stopping them. Now, don't get me wrong, if they put the ability on and they're very good and they know how to pass out of it too, I might have trouble. But I'm just specifically talking about when they try to run the ball. My guys block shit on the defensive ends, and that's because I have like 93. I think I have 93 defensive ends. I have 92 Everson Griffin, 93 Ed Too Tall Jones. Yeah, he has great stats. I feel you, sports. I mean, you just gotta get used to it, bro. You gotta get used to it. Everything's hard for sure. You'll get used to it, man.
And then something else that I noticed with the QB thing. If you play cover 2 and you have your quarterbacks that are in flats, and you're able to like contain on the outside, and they try to bounce it off to the outside, I've noticed that the CBs that are in flats will usually shoot in, and then contain it. So
yeah, that's very true too. See, I got I got Deion Sanders at 94 speed, 95 acceleration, and 92 zone and 94 man coverage.
Dude, have you played with Dion in Mud Draft, the '93 version?
No, I haven't gotten him yet.
He's made like if you ever get him, you need to pick him up. Like he's made so many plays for me.
So you're saying my '94 Dion will be very good then?
Oh yeah, Dion's probably my favorite player in like Mud. Like he has to be close to the top.
You know who's been killing it for me though? I've had him twice, and I've had like 7 kick returns. Oh, kick return and punt return. One game I had 3 touchdowns by special teams. Dante Hall.
Oh yeah, either him or like the '86 Marquise Brown. He has like 95 speed. He's a glitch for sure.
I understand what you mean, Little Red. Yeah, I definitely understand what you mean. I was going to ask you, Trey, what do you think on my strong safety? I have the 93 Jamal Adams. 89 speed, 89 acceleration, but 95 play recognition. Do you think he's a waste?
Like stats to me.
I'm trying to figure out what I could get his ability. Enforcer's 30.
I would say Enforcer. And then, I don't know... Like, did you see how Skimbo was able to, like, put one of his Enforcer on special teams?
Yeah, I don't know how they do that.
I think you have to go to, like, I'm not sure, but I think it's, like, when you go to, like, your team, and then it has, like, offense, defense, but then specialist. I think it's something to do with that, but... That's like almost unfair that he's able to do that.
You know what? Let me go check this out, actually, you guys. I mean, we are keeping the podcast running a little bit longer. We got a packed house. People are asking questions. Let's see. Specialists. I want to see something like if I sub him. No, I'm trying to figure out like if you sub somewhere on like the kickoff team.
Yeah, it has to do like with something on the specialist team because you can't do like the manual subs in the kickoff package or nothing.
Yeah, I don't. I'm at specialist. What's up, Ted Cord? How's your day going, brother? Right end. I don't know how. Who was his enforcer again?
Pat Tillman, I think. Pat.
Did he do special team? I wonder if he didn't have any like safety background people. Like, I mean, I'm saying like, you know, the backup position. I wonder if he took that out and then that made them do that. I'm doing good, Ted. I'm doing good. I'm glad that you joined this the West Coast Madden Podcast, bro. We're running a little bit longer because we got a packed house in here, seeing how you're doing, seeing how everyone's doing. Kind of going over our salary cap team. What's up, Jay Smooth? What's up, bro?
Jay Smooth is in here.
Yeah, what's going on, Jay Smooth?
We have... Ladies and gentlemen, this kid, Jay Smooth, literally has 2 accounts on the top 100 in Mud Draft. But it's like, let someone else in. Gee.
That's crazy, you guys. Oh man, shout out. I'm not gonna. Jay Smooth is that dude though, man. That's tight. Jay, I hit you up, bro. Ted Cord, how do I get so many subscribers? It took me a long time, and I don't even have that many subscribers, if you want to know the truth. But I did look it up, and I did look up this 4x4. And 4x4 is considered you do one video a week every time in the same day, 4 times a week, or 4 times in a month. So you do it 4 times total, 4 times in a month. Obviously, that's a 4x4 rule. So if you want to do it every Monday, you do it every Monday. If you want to do it Tuesday, do it every Tuesday. Do not skip around. Because if you skip around, people aren't going to come and join. Since I've done the 4x4, I've gained about 1,000 subscribers in the last 10 months. I know it's not a lot, but it definitely helps. Go ahead and subscribe here, Ted, if you want. If not, it's all good. Trey, so you got your team ready, bro? For last chance?
I mean, my secondary is still pretty garbage. I'd like if I could get 2 good cornerbacks. I don't even need good safeties. I feel like if I have like decent safeties, I'll be okay. But if I could get like 2 lockdown corners, I'd be straight. But
you just got to figure out what you want. Like I told you, because I'm not going to throw your gameplay and what you are going to try to run, but you need safeties. Remember, I told you you definitely need safety play.
Yeah. I mean, I need safeties, but I'm saying like they're not like if I could have good safeties, but have like even better like cornerbacks is what I'm trying to say. But I still need safeties for sure. But they're not as like for the way that I play, they're not as important as quarterbacks because I like to cross man my DBs and when they go to run the ball. And 2 receiver formations because I can just cross man them on the receivers and then they'll be able to keep up with them if they try to pass.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to figure out, I might lose some people on the defensive side. I'm not entirely sure. But I'm trying to figure out because, like I said, my guy told me it'd either be 1075 or 1100, but he thinks it'll be in the 1070, so I have to lose probably like 25 cap for somebody, and I just don't know who yet. I might just take superstar ability off of Jalen Smith because I'm comfortable with my user. I don't really need a secure tackler. And then I got Mean Joe Green and all that. Turn the joiner into Reed smooth. I like certain stats, bro, is why. I will go check out Ed Reed right now, though, and see what's going on. And Smooth, I definitely need what we were talking about earlier, but I don't say it in here because I don't want people to know. Let's see, what's Ed Reed? Ed Reed. He's a strong safety, though, bro. I don't want to. I want him in the position.
I mean, you could manually put him at a free safety if you wanted.
Yeah, but then it loses the lockdown. Yeah, and he's 999. Sorry, Cap. I can't use him. They Jay. They changed a lot of things up, but you know what, you guys. I'm running a little bit late. I got some stuff to do. This is the West Coast Madden Podcast. I apologize to everybody in here still, but I'm Shanegotyou11, and with me always is Trey. We will see you next Thursday. Hopefully we have people coming out and about for every podcast from here on out. And Little Red, I appreciate you always being in here. They have a promo coming out Friday or Saturday. Okay, I got to be looking for that. I got to get on Mud Draft. I have been lazy as crap. But this Shanegotyou11. With me as always is Trey. We will see you next week, you guys.